Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping in. My name is Bill Houston, and I am here with the Proactive Social Impact Fund with Dr. Kanan Van Williams, who will introduce himself in just a moment. And before we get started here, I want to read the disclosure for testing the waters. This page represents the testing the waters materials. The company is considering to make an offering of securities exempt from registration under the Securities Act of 1933, but it's not determined a specific exemption from registration to rely on the subsequent offer or sale of securities. This page gives potential investors to indicate the interest the issuer until the company determines the exemption under which the offering is intended to be conducted, and where applicable, the filing, disclosure, or qualification requirements of such exemptions are met, meaning no funds or other consideration is to be solicited, and if any money is sent, it will not be accepted by the company. No sales will be performed or commitments to purchase accepted until the offering statement is qualified and a proposed purchaser indication of interest is non-binding. Just had to kind of set that up and get the record started. Dr. Van, if you will, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Dr. Kanan Van Williams, and I am the founder of Rancho Affordable Living, also the managing founder of the Proactive Realty Income Funds, which includes like 3 or 4 different funds. However, today we'll be talking about our Test in the Waters campaign for Rancho Affordable Living. Make sure everyone can see me. Is that enough light? Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Yes, sorry, it looks good.
Thank you,
All right,
sir.
Dr. Van, we will go ahead and get started here. Um, so my first question is, what inspired you to start Rancho Affordable Living LLC?
The inspiration directly comes from the project that we completed that's across the street, that's located at 1735 North Rancho Drive in Las Vegas, Nevada. On the north side of town, it's right in the redevelopment area. And we decided to go with that project because it was it was a distressed property, and there were people who are in need of housing. And so we went to that property, repositioned it, and then we were contacted by the owner of the property across the street, which is 1750 North Rancho Drive. So that's where the inspiration came from.
Okay, can you explain the concept of impact investing in real estate?
So impact investing in real estate is, and we're social impact investors, meaning that we're looking for, excuse me, let me rephrase that. Our intention is to have the best possible outcome, housing security, housing affordability. And when I say affordability, I spoke with a colleague of mine yesterday. I'm going to a conference this weekend. This is a little bit off the subject, but I'm going to a conference this weekend where we will be presenting. And one of the things my colleague and also mentor pointed out to us was that we're very distinct, what we do here at Rancho, at Proactive as a whole, in that we work with those who are at, below, near the poverty line, might have been previously homeless, need second chance housing, and things of that nature. That are all, excuse me, and by the way, that are often, quite often subsidized by the government or partially subsidized by the government until they have a clear path to affordability on their own. And they still may receive subsidies.
All right, thank you, Dr. Van.
Yes,
Next
sir.
question. How does Rancho Affordable Living ensure both social impact and financial returns for investors?
Rancho ensures both because we bring housing in. So I'm a manufactured home licensed dealer, and we're able to bring in 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, 3-bedroom homes at cost from the factory direct. So that means we buy them and we bring them in at a wholesale price. And because we bring them in at a wholesale
Good bro.
price, we're able to pass that cost savings benefit
To follow up
on
on
to.
anything you're texting Seba, but let me call you back in an hour, okay?
All right. So yeah,
Thomas, could you please mute yourself?
so we pass that cost savings on to our residents, and we just had a social impact report done by Morningstar Sustainalytics. So we made an affordability through renovation of what's existing, buying a house, not the house, buying the house directly from the factory, and the multifamily side. This particular property has 6 multifamily units. We renovated those, so it's no build construction, no ground up construction. It's purely revitalization, renovation, some redevelopment, not even a lot of that. And we're able to pass that cost savings benefit on to the end user, which is our resident. And just so happens that we're able to also make a modest profit that allows us to, address our investors' needs.
Great. Thank you for that response. What are the
Yes,
main
sir.
challenges you face in redeveloping affordable housing projects, just in general?
Capital. So yeah, I'd say the biggest challenge is capital. Just having the capital to execute at times, to go in, start a project, pick up a project. Sometimes we miss out on properties just because we don't have the capital available right then to get into the escrow due diligence period and to work through that. So that's a challenge. Other challenges may be, I really can't think of any because we do our due diligence and we go into a property knowing what we can do, what we can't do, what are the rules, what are the regulations, what is the zoning, what is the permitting. Occasionally, we may have a contractor that shows up, late or slow, or maybe doesn't show up if we just started working with this person. However, we have it built into our contract that the second day no show means we go on to the next person so we can get it done. So I hope I've addressed the question.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone interested in at the Rancho Affordable Living page on Silicon Valley, I just put the link into the chat. So you're welcome to go check that out. Next question. How does the project address the current affordable housing shortage in Las Vegas? You talked a little bit about one project that you've already done. So maybe you could talk about how that the project that you've done before are already completed, and this project are going to help put a little bit of a dent into the affordable housing shortage in Las Vegas.
Okay, rephrase. Wait, what?
How does the project address the current affordable housing shortage in Las Vegas?
Oh, by providing. Okay, I have it now. By providing much needed housing to those who need. Again, and affordable is a correct word. However, our very specific population of the affordable housing group, the low income, the transitional housing people, the people who come who are veterans who've been homeless. We're addressing second chance housing, which is much needed. We're, excuse me, we're addressing Section 8 housing, subsidized housing, domestic violence placement housing, City of North Las Vegas, Catholic Charities, Southern Hope of Nevada. And I name all those agencies because all of those agencies are in crisis as it relates to needing a group or provider, a vendor that will provide that type of housing.
Great. Thank you. What role does sustainability play in your housing projects?
Oh, great question. So sustainability plays a significant role because we have projects that people are able to get into, stay there, have housing security, and then we have a lot of energy efficiencies. They're sustainable because we have properties that are right on public transit bus lines, uh, easily accessible by bike, by walking, by Uber, by Lyft, but most importantly by the bus line. So our Rancho Affordable Living Project, the bus stop is in the front. If I lived at the property, and this is a property I'd live at, I have a place I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I have a really big presence. Proactive does, Rancho does here. And I'd live there. You walk out your front door, you get on the bus. It's centrally located. You can go anywhere you want to in the city within a very short period of time. And so it's a high demand properties and very sustainable for a family, whether it be a family, husband and wife, a couple, single individual, what have you.
Great. How are the new manufactured homes more energy efficient compared to traditional homes?
Oh, with the material control. So they have full control over materials. They have HUD standards, low E green standards, environmental standards that they use to construct the homes. For example, some of the new manufactured homes, you have option to get solar shingles on the house. They're low E certified. They're by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. What else can I tell you? Energy Star certified. Uh, and that covers it.
Okay, what benefits do investors receive from participating in the debt offering? And again, because we are testing the waters, what we'll do is we'll refer you to the Rancho Affordable Living LLC page on Silicon Valley or Silicon Prairie, I'm sorry. And you will find that link actually in the chat if you're interested in checking that out. How is Rancho Affordable Living certified, and what does this certification entail?
So the certification will entail that housing occupancy standards. So the new manufactured homes that we bring in are permitted. We'll have an electrician come in prior to. So we'll place the order with the factory. The factory will then give us a date as to when those houses come offline. We notify our person who's going to set them up. He pulls permits. We get the invoices. We get the serial numbers. He pulls permits. I reach out to our electrician, professional electric services of Nevada. They come, they pull permits, they make sure everything's in place, infrastructure, cleaning up the property. We're going to add new lighting, things of that nature. But the main certification comes from the certificate of occupancy that each home is safe, sound, habitable, and it's up to livable standards. And in this case, there'll be 2024 or 2025 brand new manufactured homes.
Can you elaborate on the strategic improvements planned for the North Rancho Drive property?
Yes. So the 1750 North Rancho Drive property that's the address where it's located. If you look on Google Earth, you'll see the project we just completed across the street. If you reach out to me via LinkedIn or Mr. Bill or to our website, Proactive Impact Fund, or the Silicon Valley Prairie Offering, Testing the Waters page, you find more information there. The surrounding area is surrounded by really nice townhomes, single family homes, residential, a lot of new construction and redevelopment in that area. And this will provide housing for those brand new housings for those who are in need.
Thank you. How do you ensure the safety and habitability of the properties you develop?
Well, we bring in security cameras. We always have an on-site manager, and that goes back to the strategic, the question that you had previously about the strategic improvements of the property. The bringing in of new homes, no displacement of current residents. And
Okay.
the certificate of occupancy covers that, like the safety and the habitability. I just was thinking about it. Go ahead.
What is the significance of the project's location in terms of accessibility and amenities? You can also talk a little bit about public transit and those opportunities as well. Because it is kind of centrally located, if you could really speak about not just the property itself, but the community in which the property actually resides.
Okay, so it's a working class community. I don't know. A lot of people are familiar with Las Vegas, Nevada. A lot of vendors, food trucks, pop-up restaurants. It's very close to. There's one shopping center that is within walking distance, about an 8-minute walk. The next shopping center is within about a 15-minute walk, for about 10-minute bike ride, or 2 or 3 stoplights by car. Public transportation comes in the front, takes you to downtown. Downtown, there's different shuttles that take you to different places. One of the agencies that we work with, City of Las Vegas, they have what's called the courtyard. And I'm not talking courtyard by Marriott. When I say courtyard, think of it's a huge shed, and the top, it does not have walls. And you can look on the internet and see this. And there are people who sleep on the ground, on mats. They're still exposed to the elements, rain, heat, cold. If the wind is blowing and it's raining, you're going to get wet. If there's mice or rodents or bugs or what have you, it's just that, and that's the best they can do, because a lot of shelters and places are full. And this is for the people who want to get off the streets, most of them. You do have unfortunately, you have an element of people who are just like, okay, I'm okay with being homeless or living in certain conditions, or maybe they may have some mental health challenges. But back to the accessibility, very accessible to work, live, play, and eat, and no food deserts.
Absolutely. What's the expected timeline for the completion of the project from?
Within 60 days.
And can you talk
So
a little
within
bit
60 days.
about? Yeah, can you talk a little bit about how manufactured housing really helps to accelerate this timeline?
Yes. So, and I give the 60-day timeline because from start to finish, this is 23 units, depending on how many people are currently there. I know there's a huge vacancy factor right now. There's a few people who live there, own their own homes. We would go in and assist them with curb appeal, fixing up yards, repairing fences, because this particular property has individual fences, landscaping, cleaning up the property, resurface the driveway, all within 60 days. Factory built housing is a real solution because of the speed at to which the home can be produced and delivered. Now you have stick built housing, you have ground up construction, and hey, I'm not knocking that. However, the particular space that we're in we're immediate housing, kind of like almost, even when we work with our investors, and I'm not soliciting, touting anything or saying anything, we are immediate there as well. So from start to finish, we bring in, say, 6 homes one day. The guy has his crew come in and set those 6. If we get 15 homes in over a 2 or 3 day period, he has a larger crew that he can bring in to set everything. We have the rough inspection. Inspector comes, walks each house, verifies that it's safe, verifies it's tied down properly, and then we can skirt it, put stairs to it, to the home. The inspector comes back, does another visit, gives us a certificate of occupancy, and that's how we're able to accomplish this in 60 days or less. And the reason I give the 60-day timeline, 8 weeks, is because usually we get this done in about 5 or 6 weeks. However, I would like to account for weather. Right now it's really hot, so things may be a bit slow. Oh, and by the way, these units come with central heating and air. You can look on our Testing the Waters campaign page, and you can see some of the new manufactured homes. They come with refrigerator, microwave, space saver microwave, range. Some have dishwashers, some do not. and they're low E houses, well insulated, and they meet the highest energy efficiency standards that they have on the market.
Great. Thank you very much for that. How do you plan to manage and maintain the properties once they're developed?
Oh, okay. So I operate more as a regional manager. As when I am in Las Vegas, I do work with the manager there at the property. So each of our properties has an on-site manager. So even 1735 North Rancho currently has an on-site manager. And although he's on site there, we still have a separate on-site manager across the street at 1750 North Rancho Drive to be on site, to know what's going on, to interact with residents, to be a liaison, to keep the property clean, to upkeep the property, maintain it, and make sure that, you know, there's no bad actors and that there's nothing, you know, fishy going on, and that people, you know, their needs are met, and that it, you know, and that all contributes to a much safer environment.
What partnerships and collaborations have been crucial to your success thus far?
Investors. So for our regular fund, myself, I own 50% of the fund as its, you know, largest investor right now. Then individual investors, community organizations, our referrals we get. Just this morning, before this meeting, I got a call from, I saw on my phone, it lit up and said Rent-A-Center. I says, okay, well, who's this? I says, so usually I get those kind of calls if I have a resident who needs a verification and they can't reach our main manager, then they'll call me. And so the lady calls, she says, Mr. Williams, I have a gentleman who needs a place to live. I says, okay. And so she gave me the information and what he's in need of. He has adequate income, all of those things. So we just have partnerships with various agencies, organizations, people, former residents, investors, and brokers.
Okay, great. Thank you. Can you provide examples of previous successful projects completed by Proactive Realty Fund, similar to the Rancho Affordable Living
Yes,
project?
yes, sir. So 1735 North Rancho, we went into that property. It's a 20 unit property. We went in and there were just the place was almost a ghost town, vacant, a lot of trash, debris. There was even a big rig in a parking lot, a dirt parking lot, dilapidated travel trailers. We were able to go in and get the roads paved, work with the residents that wanted to stay, um, assist the people that didn't want to stay in one way or another. Sometimes those are referrals to like social service agencies, or if they need help in applying for something, they can come to the office. We'll sit down, we'll work with them. Sometimes we'll offer cash for keys. If we get there and the person's just like, hey, you know what, I'm not able to afford to fix up my trailer or what have you. And this is for existing people who live there and have existing homes. So we went in there, repositioned it, brought in 9 brand new manufactured homes, added a considerable amount of lighting, landscaping, and security, placed an on-site manager, renovated the multifamily building. And as soon as we brought the first manufactured home in, people from City of North Las Vegas, City of Las Vegas, Southern Hope of Nevada, and two other agencies actually, Catholic Charities and a veterans agency came. They walked, and when I say they walked the property, that means that they came in, they walked through the manufactured home, and they just could not believe it. They'd heard about new manufactured homes, but they had no idea as to what it was. The square footage, 1,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, laundry area, and we provided a washer and dryer to that particular family. And so from there, they signed up for all the, we bought 8 more. So we bought a total of 9. And then there was 5 people there existing, that's 14. And then 6 multifamily units. And the people who lived there that were existing, 2 of them did not own their homes, own their homes. They were owned by the park. And those are referred to as park-owned homes. And I asked one lady, I says, well, I have a largely Hispanic community there who's been there for, who have been there for like 15 to 17 years or more. And so I wanted to make sure that they, had everything they needed. And so two of the families were like, well, first I, talked to the lady and she says, well, I says, okay, we're going to cool seal your roof. That means we put a new roof on with a coating, and we got them a new stove. The previous owner had did nothing. And I asked her, I says, well, this home is owned by the park and other home, which was, I think, her cousin or sister. And I says, would you like to buy it? And she says, well, I can't afford it right now. I had a translator. I said, well, how come? And she says, well, the previous owner wanted $10,000 for the house. I says, huh? I says, well, ma'am, I just don't see that. I says, you know what? You and your husband bring us $1,200 and it's yours. And they were so elated. So they bought their house, and then other people, same thing, $1,200. They bought their house. They have a very low space rent that they can afford. We assisted them with about a 5-gallon bucket of paint for one house. The other house we put in, after we sold it, we put in new vanity, commode, the Echo Flush 2-button push commode, and some flooring in the living room. And then they took it from there. And so you go by the community. If you're ever in Las Vegas, go to 1735 North Rancho Drive. My on-site manager will show you around, Mr. Brad Reed. And you can see and talk to the residents. See, touch, and feel is what I call it. And talk to the residents and get a feel for what it is we do.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. What are the eligibility requirements for potential residents of the new housing units?
Well, now see, that varies by each location. Now, one thing we don't allow is and I'm pivoting over to our manufactured home parks, where we bring new homes in and we may sell them to residents that live there. We don't allow flippers to come in. We don't allow subleasing. We don't allow people to rent one of our affordable units that's new. This has come up 3 or 4 times. We've had people try to rent and say, oh, I'd like to Airbnb. And it's just, no, this is a community. And that's not what this is for. It's for families. So the eligibility is a lot of times is that if they come through an agency, then the agency has their own criteria because they vet them before they refer them. Because the agency quite often pays their deposit, first month's rent, or works with them for them to gain self-sufficiency. So we don't have like an eligibility criteria because we're second chance housing. So if someone calls us up and says, proactive, or talks to one of my managers here or South Carolina or Illinois and says, hey, this family wants to move in, or these are the circumstances. And I says, okay, if they have an eviction, what are the circumstances of the eviction? And we'll work with them as long as they can prove that, they're coming, with good intentions.
Okay, great. That kind of leads into the next question, and that's, how does this project contribute to the local community beyond just providing affordable housing?
Oh, that's a great question. So we provide a lot of, I don't know if you've heard the term phantom jobs. So like there's a term for phantom debt. Phantom debt is like the buy here, the buy now, pay later, like a firm or Klarna or those types of things that don't show up on your credit report. So a phantom job that contributes to the local economy is, say, a retired person, say a person who gets a government check or some kind of subsidy. They want to supplement their income. They have good skills, handymen, day workers. We go to Home Depot quite often. We have a list of day workers that we work with. We work with people who are in Salvation Army, in the shelter. We work with social workers and say, hey, today, we have 6 hours of work. We'll pay, above minimum wage, make sure they have lunch. And if they need help with transportation here in Nevada, it's like $5 or $6, $5 and change to get a 72-hour bus pass. So we'll buy a 72-hour bus pass. to assist the person getting back and forth to work. And it also contributes to local tax base, local suppliers, and what else that's local? Probably just the jobs is the biggest thing largest thing that sticks out to me. Jobs and buying supplies and that sort of thing.
Great. What is the role of Proactive Realty Investment Fund in this particular project, Rancho Affordable Living?
Oh, great question. So Proactive is our main is going to be the manager of the project, the Proactive Realty Group. Proactive Realty Group has funded, will be funding the part of the campaign. And again, it's testing the water, so it's no solicitation here. But the Proactive Realty Group is invested in the project first. And then, anyone who's interested, once we go live here in the next 5 to 7 days, our campaign, and Mr. Bill can explain that more to you. They're investors, and they'll be investing alongside with potential investors that come in.
Great. Thank you very much. And you kind of touched on, one last question, and then we'll talk about the offer itself. How do you balance the need for affordability with the demand for high quality housing, especially using the manufactured homes?
Okay, rephrase the question, Mr. Bill.
Balancing the need of affordability with the demand for high quality housing. So, even though you need it to be affordable, you still want to make sure that what people are getting is really high quality. How do you do that?
Oh, okay. So that's each home is built to HUD standard, and these are new homes. So imagine getting a brand new Toyota direct from the factory. You can afford that. If you had to pay a monthly payment on a Toyota, say whether it be a small SUV, whether it be a mid-size car, whether it be full size, whatever, you'd be able to afford it because it came direct from the factory. So the key to our success and affordability and balance, direct from the factory in manufactured housing. Buying property, we acquire properties that are renovations, distressed properties, Class C, Class D. We've even bought some Class F. We bought a Class F property in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Our flagship success story, that was 187 spaces, 39 acres. It was a manufactured home park. We turned that park around in 3.5 years, 3.5 years, and sold it for a really great price to publicly traded company, UMH.com, UMH REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust.
Great, Dr. Van. Thank you very much for those answers to our questions and taking the time out to talk about this offer. So if you're an investor and you're interested in learning more about the Rancho Affordable Living campaign, Testing the Waters campaign on Silicon Prairie, please take a look in the chat and you'll find the link. You can go to the link, sign up, get on our email list and start receiving our emails. Again, we appreciate everyone that's here. Do we have any questions? If you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, looks like no questions. Again, thank you, Dr. Van Williams. Great session. Do you have any closing words before we close out here?
Let me think. Just that it's important to balance affordability and to really provide a service to those who are in need. In the affordable housing, the low income space, and to give people a place they can call home, and to treat people with dignity and respect, and to provide housing security.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Van Williams. Great
Yes, sir.
session today. And check us out on Monday of next week, Monday and Friday of next week, we'll be on. We'll be doing these lives. If you have some questions, please bring your questions, and engage with, Dr. Van Williams as we move forward with this offer. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. So, Mr. Beal,